The Sandbox Mythos couldn't escape. I have created a sandbox based upon whitelisting individual function invocations. You can actually see the code that actually does it up here. This allows me to create HTTP Web API endpoints that accepts natural language input, generates code, executes that code on the server, and returns the result of that execution back to the caller. Now, if you ask a traditional security expert and you explain to him my solution, he will probably claim that I am crazy and that I have just allowed for remote code execution, which by the very definition of the term is a security issue. I mean, that is the security issue. It's arguably the only security issue that really exists in the world. RCE, that's what it's called. Yet still, somehow Mythos couldn't escape the sandbox, even though I allowed it to generate code that it was executing on my backend, and it still couldn't escape the sandbox. And you can actually see me here going through the implementation with Codex using GPT-5.6, and 5.6 actually concluded with that given a couple of assumptions, which basically are that the software developer does his job and does not whitelist slots that are dangerous or allows for, you know, doing terminal or bash stuff or things like that, then Codex admitted that this isn't even possible for an ASI, superintelligence, to break out of. Which means that I actually, by the very definition of the term, happens to currently now have in Magic, which is an open source framework, you can find it on GitHub, the only implementation in the world that is 100% secure, even for an ASI, artificial superintelligence. And it's not even possible for an ASI to break out of the capability constraints that the whitelisted function invocation logic actually allows it to do. That means that I can allow an LLM to generate, you know, code such as, you know, read stuff from database or like scrape the web. And if it tries to do something malicious, such as, you know, deleting all my users from that same database where it's got read access, then it actually wouldn't be possible, not even in theory, for it to do that, because it's a capability constraint. You see, even an ASI cannot expand its capabilities regardless of how much code it is being allowed to generate and execute. So even an ASI wouldn't be able to break out of this sandbox simply because it is constrained by its capabilities, and unless its capabilities explicitly actually gives it a path towards breaking out, then it's not even possible, right? And this doesn't have anything to do with me being a better AI scientist than everybody else or anything like that. It is just one of the traits that happens to be implemented at the core of the programming language called Hyperlambda, which is an integral part of Magic. So yes, I have the only LLM on earth that Mythos couldn't break, actually. And that is a true statement, and you can verify it. You can download the source code, and if you can somehow manage to have the LLM break out of the capability constraints given to it, then I will give you $100. I mean, I'm really that confident in it. Now, I need to emphasize there are two assumptions specified here. A, you don't whitelist functions that accepts lambda objects, which is being executed by the function. Constraint 1. Constraint 2 is you don't whitelist slots or functions such as terminal or execute Python code or execute C# code, etc., etc. Now, if those two constraints happens to be true, then it is logically impossible for an LLM to actually break out of the sandbox and do malicious things. And that is just a scientific fact, and you can actually prove it by going through my code. And I encourage you to do so, and I encourage you to prove me wrong. So anyways, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.